Starting lineup tonight for the Knights a year later as these two teams meet once again. Just 2 hours apart up I-65. Casey Wilkinson, Jeff Greer here with you. Casey, your keys to victory for both teams.
Sure, these were put in, of course, before all the rain started, but Bellarmine has done really well to get into the box and find the runs coming off the foot of Hazik Zed, Jack Fisher, Tegan Dunn, and the like. So we're going to look for some more success out of those runs this evening. And also, Bellarmine's unbeaten streak has really done well and been served by its defense. So as long as Bellarmine can stay balanced, get 10 players behind the ball, and be sure to identify some of these roving central midfielders, they should be good. For the Jags, withstanding Bellarmine's early pressure is going to be critical. Bellarmine has a tendency to go high press, and with Nolan McGrath up there, he's kind of the engine for this team. So as long as they can withstand that pressure and attack early, this could be a night that is real key in terms of a non-conference win for either team.
IUPUI in the red kits with the white sleeves going right to left on your screen. And of course, Bellarmine in the white kits with the scarlet shorts, the scarlet red shorts going left to right on your screen. It is not a game for the faint of heart here tonight with the driving rain. It's cooled down quite a bit. It was a beautiful day yesterday, but today has just been an absolute gloom fest all day, and it has produced this rainy evening. But we'll see how it affects these two teams playing tonight as IUPUI in the early stages here on the front foot. This is Ethan Vermillion from Frankfurt trying to play in teammate down that right side. It was cut out. He was looking for Nasser Dasuki. And it was cut away, and now here comes Bellarmine. It's Nolan McGrath ahead. On the far left side, trying to get on the ball. And we'll see if Bellarmine can keep up their goal-scoring ways. They have been excellent in this unbeaten streak, Casey. 8 goals for, 2 against. And really have been able to just churn out results.
And it's really coming from a lot of different places. You know, there's 9 players on this team. There's 10 players on this team, excuse me, that have scored a goal this season. Only one of those players has more than one, however. So they're getting it from all sides. And while it might not be stat stuffing for any particular player, Tim Chastney's got to like that he's getting so many guys into the mix.
Bryson Nigerian, the junior, and a Wright State transfer from Ohio in goal tonight for IUPUI. Expecting quite a bit of squad rotation for this team. A number of freshmen, a number of guys who are making their first, second, and third starts of the season for the Jags. That is not one of them, Pedro Arruda. He is now making his 5th start of this campaign. And in goal for Bellarmine is Matthew Brozovic, the senior from St. Louis, his 11th start of the year. He's got 3 clean sheets. But Casey, this is a tall order for both goalkeepers. How does the rain, especially on a turf surface like this, impact the ability to play?
Well, it's going to play much quicker this evening, and you've already kind of seen that a little bit. Now, there are some pockets, it appears, where some rain is pooling. The ball might get stuck unexpectedly. We're going to take a look at a quick foul here, but you're going to see players slipping and sliding as they got Camden Dunn on that, just kind of back-ending into the Jags player. But it's going to be pretty quick. You're going to see skipping balls, and I would imagine the goalkeepers are probably pretty mentally stressed knowing that their clean sheet streak could be threatened this evening.
It's a junior from Sweden, Lucas Haka, over the ball. And Spencer Holland runs over at first. Haka driving in near post, and it hit the side netting. And a close opportunity for Haka. 5 goals, 7 assists so far this season, coming off a goal and 3 assists in a 4-2 doozy against Oakland. And he came close on that free kick. And you gotta give some love to those who have showed out tonight. A lot of umbrellas in the crowd, but there is at least a handful of folks here taking in this midweek non-conference matchup late into the 2022 regular college season. On the far side, that's Cooper Forcellini in a real battle with Ethan Miller, the junior for IUPUI, and Bellarmine wins it back. And that is going to run long for a corner, I believe, was the indication. Knights will get an early opportunity on the set piece. No, it's going to be a long throw here for Brock Pope near the corner flag.
That's a tough task tonight, is to try to have these long throws that Brock is kind of known for. That ball's going to be very slippery coming out of his hand.
And a sliding challenge in to clear the ball away. That was Jackson Kern cutting off any chance at transition.
And I imagine you'll see a lot of that as well tonight. This turf is pretty soft, and when you get a little bit of water on it, it pads the landing even more so, and the clearances are going to come from sliding players just to kind of corral and put their body behind everything and not take any chances. So you might see some slip and sliding tonight.
Even Miller has his attempt at a long diagonal blocked away by Nolan McGrath. And I am also interested, Casey, in your thoughts on Lewis Dunn leading the charge tonight without that familiar head coaching voice in Sid Van Drunen. How does that change for your team when you go on the road like this and you don't have your head coach?
Well, so in one aspect, you might not be used to your preparation or your rotation. Coach Dunn could have maybe some different ideas in terms of how he wants to rotate and win. And so you just got to be kind of ready to expect whatever you get, the unexpected. On a rainy night, there's a lot of different factors that can come into play. And these Jags are somewhat used to a new voice. It's just Coach Van Drunen's first season, so they probably are used to the coaching coming from multiple different aspects. So I imagine once they get out there and in the rain and once they're playing soccer, it's probably not going to be as big of a deal as we're talking about it right now.
There's Joey Gladys wearing that number 3 shirt back at fullback tonight. Jackson Kern out on the far side, one of the reliable long playing guys for this Bellarmine squad, the team leader in minutes. The senior from Lexington has his ball run long and out though, and IUPUI is back in possession. And the radar really did not look favorable for this game tonight, with just bank after bank of thunder and lightning believed to be in the forecast. So we will hope that this thing will just keep going, even though it is raining out. At least a chance to play for both of these teams and try to stay in their hot momentum.
And I'll tell you, now that we've started, what these players don't want to do is have that start and stop. You know, they've gone through the trouble of warming up. They're already soaking wet. Their feet have kind of adjusted to the slippery aspect of this evening. They are just really ready to get into that game mode, and to potentially have a delay is one of those aspects that is not really welcome for competitive athletes such as these Knights and Jags.
Camden Dunn in a real battle on the far side with Brady Horn, and it's going to end up just being a goal kick there. Is there anything in that for you, Casey?
Not for me. It's shoulder tackles. I like it that the ref is going to let them play a little bit, see how the play develops, and there's nothing really there. A little bit of embellishment maybe by Camden Dunn. He's a hard takedown, but it looked like 2 shoulder tackles to me.
Joshua Brooks is your head match referee tonight. Clifton Florence and Jackson Krauser are the assistant referees, the linesmen. As the ball is all the way back to Nigerian. Transferred in, as I said, from Wright State, and is getting the opportunity tonight in goal for the Jags. I've been in possession for a good portion of this early stages of this game. Out to the far side now, Tepe, and he was looking for the run of Pedro Arruda, but Arruda was already thinking differently than his teammate. And you can see on the far side there's not enough tent space, Casey, for the amount of people who are here for both teams.
Now, IUPUI has done well to kind of condense and get onto under their tent, as have the fourth official and the scorekeeping. But, you know, when you've got about 40 kids on your team for Bellarmine, there's probably going to be a few underclassmen who are pushed outside of that tent.
Yeah, it is a big roster for the Knights as they continue to try to build into Division I, making the transition a couple years ago. They were a D2 power, found some early success at the D1 ranks, including a 6-3-4 record so far this season, 2-2-2 in the A-Sun. And they have certainly proven to be a real thorn in the side of their opponents right away in their new league. IUPUI in the horizon. This is tricky stuff from Vermilion. Trying to get into the area, right-footed drive. And Vermilion just missed the far post there, but well done by the freshman from right here in Kentucky.
Yeah, freshman comes home to his home state and has a little opportunity from the left side. He's going to nutmeg Joey Gladys and then try to go to the upper 90 on that far post. And Matthew Brozovic was likely beaten there, so had Vermilion been able to kind of dip that ball a little bit more, that could have been real dangerous.
Vermilion with 2 goals and an assist, the freshman from Frankfort, Kentucky, the state capital, Frankfort High School. And already putting his imprint on this game. As he said, out to the far left side, was looking for Jack Fisher on the far left and was a bit long there. Also on the far side for a little too physical of an interaction will allow Bellarmine to get a restart. And if you're the Knights, you're 7 unbeaten, but you've actually had 3 consecutive draws, including a 1-1 draw against Belmont the last time out. As a free kick into the area is chested down. Still dangerous, Bellarmine.
See if Bellarmine can get on the end of that one.
Good grab there by Nigerian.
Good keeping there from Nigerian to snag that. Bellarmine had 2 players in the box, and it was just an excellent delivery from Jack Fisher. You're going to see Nolan McGrath's going to lay it off. Fisher gets all the way in deep. Had Brock Pope, who's one of the better players for the Knights, in the air. So very good stuff from the IUPUI keeper there.
Nigerian trying to spur on the counter was snuffed out, and now Bellarmine coming back with another wave. Gladys trying to deliver into the area. And IUPUI will just have to chase it away. A good start for both teams really getting forward. It's required some defending on both ends of the field so far. Gladys. Header won confidently there by Miller. And now IUPUI trying to get out on the counter. Good touch from Vermilion, the freshman. And Casey, it's clear from the early stages of this game that IUPUI would love to try to be fast in their counterattack, but it's taken away on the near side. It's Forcellini trying to get by Miller, but Miller recovers well to avoid a dangerous moment.
I think Cooper was looking to pass there. He had Nolan McGrath on the right side kind of going with him, and he tried a little bit of a hesitation move, but good defense from the Jags. Tonight it's going to be really difficult. I think you've seen it a couple of times from the Knights players. It's hard to close down a player defensively in this kind of weather. Your footing is not so sure, and you might slip, and players are gonna, you'll see, probably get down into their defensive stance about 3 steps sooner than normal. You can't really rely on a quick turn or stop and shift with this kind of weather.
It is just relentlessly raining here in Louisville as Vermilion carries forward again. This is Dasuki. First attempt to play through was blocked, but the cross from the right foot of Tyler Gaynor runs long, and it's going to be a goal kick for Brozovic. Go back with this Bellarmine group. It really had taken a couple of lumps back-to-back, shutout losses to Central Arkansas and Liberty, and at that point, they only had the 2 wins of the season, Casey, but they have turned it around dramatically here pretty quickly in league play, but also in non-conference play to get to where they are now. You talked about them defensively. What do you think it has been about Bellarmine that has made them play this well of late and start churning out results and be 7 unbeaten?
Well, the confidence is growing on the back line, obviously. There's plenty of experience with Jackson Kern, Rickard Cederberg, Brock Pope, Joey Gladys, and Tegan Dunn. And so as the season has progressed, the only true new piece to that puzzle was Tegan Dunn. He fits in nicely on that left side. And it seems like Bellarmine with Matthew Brozovic always calmly in the goal has gained some confidence from the back and knowing that they could potentially shut many teams out. And that's kind of given the attackers a little bit more patience and risk ability. And so I think we've seen some more runs develop, some more players getting in the box, some more risks getting taken, and it's really led to some great success.
And as a result, Bellarmine very much in the thick of it in the A-Sun as IUPUI in possession here in the attacking half. And a long clearance from the Knights as IUPUI rebuilding again through the back. Brady Horn, the freshman from Noblesville, Indiana, in possession, number 28, off to Miller. Bellarmine moving up to bring its lines a bit higher here in this 4-4-2 system. And the ball is given away there by Zed. It's Haka with a head of steam. Still Haka, right-footed drive, and it's just wide. Lucas Haka hit it with venom after the takeaway, and IUPUI very narrowly missing out on taking the early lead.
This is another really good take from the left side. Haka gets well to get to the middle of the field, and he's going to try this time low and away on that far post. Matthew Brozovic had that side covered, but it was a really good move to get free, and you see there's quite a bit of spurtability from the Jaguars this evening, and Bellarmine's not necessarily been as confident in their contain. So see if they can't get that left side worked out this evening.
And the first substitution of the night is Thomas Stickley checking in for Hazik Zed. Stickley, the graduate student from New York, transferred in from Fairfield University. This is Cooper Forcellini, the freshman, really talented player for Bellarmine, driving through. Now he's got an opportunity to play in on the far side. It's Stickley, and he was looking for McGrath near post. Well covered by Nigerian.
Great play from Nigerian. I thought that had a surefire goal setting up. Cooper Forcellini did well on the take to distribute that ball out wide to the newcomer Stickley, and he had a great service to the near post. And you'll see Cooper's just going to go a quick through ball, and Stickley gets one-timer straight to the near post. He was looking, I think that was Camden Dunn, but Nigeria's just been really confident back there so far and has had three saves tonight, whereas his hands definitely look solid.
It's going to be a tall order with the weather being what it is, but so far both keepers showing safe hands. Forcellini again on the ball. Far side now. This is Bellarmine working through its possession. Kern just playing it long. And the Knights trying to get on the front foot early in front of the home crowd. That's some tricky stuff, and shouts for the referee's whistle go unheeded, and it's a high bouncing ball that required Nigerian to come out. End-to-end stuff here is now IUPUI trying to get out into the open. Holland on the far side, playing in Dasuki. It's Kern with him, Dasuki. Good defending from Kern. At least dealt with momentarily by Bellarmine.
Bellarmine did well to get back there in that transition chance. They had 7 defenders back quickly. The Jags were trying to push, but were only able to get 4 through. So Joey Gladys and Camden Dunn both sprinted back from the box and really helped out that defensive effort.
It's been a fairly open game so far. Both teams certainly not afraid to go for it. As you mentioned, IUPUI 7 goals in their 3-game win streak here, including 4 the last time out against Oakland. The Jags playing in a tough league themselves in the Horizon, but they are well situated with a 3-1-3 record on 12 points through 7 matches in the Horizon. Just about 20 minutes into this one. We are fortunate that there has not been a lightning strike yet. Both of these teams trying to register their own lightning strikes early on in this one. And have not been able to beat Nigerian for IUPUI or Brozovic for Bellarmine. This is Rickard Cederberg, the sophomore from Sweden. Offside now, working through the lines, Bellarmine. That was a dangerous ball in. It was McGrath who was the closest, but once again, Nigerian quick off his line.
Really good decision making. He was confident when he came out, was able to get to it even without sliding. So he made his decision nicely, but a good opportunity for Bellarmine there on the build out.
IUPUI happy to build through its defenders as well, trying to work through possession. And we were told that Lewis Dunn and the coaching staff were planning on rotating their team quite a bit tonight. We've got a number of players, as we mentioned, making their first or second starts of this campaign for the Jags. Haka is not one of them, of course. The junior from Sweden is a fixture on this Jags team. And here to the near side, Brady Horn. He's got a goal so far in his freshman season. Ethan Miller is his pairing tonight at center back. And on the near side, Gaynor. Gaynor is one of the regulars as well. That number 19 shirt for IUPUI. His 12th start of this campaign. Brozovic to get rid of it quickly there with Gaynor arriving.
Gaynor closed that really well. Matthew was probably sweating that one a little bit more than he should have.
Nothing coaches fear more than a goalkeeper sweating a little bit with the ball at his feet. IUPUI had fallen to just 1-5-5 before this three-game winning streak. It included 2 home wins against Northern Kentucky and Green Bay on Senior Day, a 1-0 win at Carroll Stadium up in Indianapolis, before hitting the road on Saturday for a 4-2 win, which is probably the main reason that there's been a number of guys rotated into the starting lineup. That's it. Not too much time in between games to have to turn back around and go on another road trip.
Yep, that Saturday, Tuesday is a pretty quick turnaround, and going back to their 3-game unbeaten streak, that shows some great character from these Jags at a point in the season where you've only got that one victory. You've not necessarily performed maybe to your standards, and they're nearing the middle point or to the end of the season. You could imagine some people and some teams might just kind of pack it in and go for the experience, maybe try to get some younger players out there and really try some new things. But Coach Van Duren's team kind of bit in, showed some character, and was able to really put together some 3 strong results along with 7 goals in the last 3 contests.
It was a pretty impressive run for IUPUI to be having a 3-game winning streak after going 8 games with only wins and ties. It was 4-4 in that stretch, 4 draws, 4 losses. The Jags have turned things around here of late. This is Haka, big reason for that, along with Tepe, who is also a big reason for that. He thought that Haka was going to continue his run, and Brozovic comes out to claim it. This is actually not Bellarmine's last home game. They've got the opportunity on Saturday against Queen's University of Charlotte. That will be Senior Day for this Bellarmine squad. They've got a number of guys that have contributed quite a bit over the years. They'll be honored for those celebrations. As the Knights trying to get forward here. Cut out by Brady Horn. Well done by the freshman center back with Nolan McGrath breathing down his neck. Thomas Stickley, the graduate transfer from Fairfield working with Cooper Forcellini. Stickley again. It's a good ball in, and it fell to Camden Dunn, but Dunn didn't quite get the touch on it that he wanted. It's still alive, but the flag has gone up, and that ends the threat for Bellarmine.
McGrath had stayed offside, and that's why you'll see that opportunity kind of get pulled back. But really good ball in, not only from Forcellini, but also from Stickley. Found its way all the way to Camden Dunn, and I don't know if it took a last-minute scoot when he wasn't ready for it, but not a great strike from the top of the box when he probably could have put that on goal. Players are getting a little relief. The rain seems to have lightened from sheeting to just regular pouring.
From getting absolutely soaked to only getting drenched.
Right.
We're in Louisville so far tonight. It has not been anything short of a wet evening for these squads. Tepe. A little bit of a dangerous ball there, but IUPUI recovering it. Miller, the junior from Illinois, working with Tepe. Tepe, a really impressive freshman, second in minutes played so far this season for the Jags. Working through the middle now. This is Vermillion. Vermillion really showing his ability so far in this one. Out on the far side. Trying to work with Aruda. This is Haka. Tepe. Haka again. He was looking for Vermillion, but good defending from the Knights to at least get it away for the moment.
It's a great ball from Joey Gladys that stayed in bounds.
Casey, it seems like when Bellarmine is defending, they do a really good job of collecting bodies, basically, making things pretty difficult once you get within about 30 yards of their goal.
Yeah, they've done well to get at least 9 players behind the ball, usually in 3 lines. And the communication from Reichard Cedarberg and Jackson Curran is really critical there. You can hear a lot of directing, whether that be to step a man or to double team on the outside. You'll see on that last build-up from the Jags, both Jack Fisher and Brock Pope were responsible for kind of getting out to the inline and pressing that coverage. So the ability to get out quickly, double team on the sideline, and have players like Jackson Kern and Reichard Cedarberg to win those balls that go straight to the middle is really important to this defense. And Tim Chastney's done a really good job of making sure the players in front of those guys also kind of buy into that behind the ball lifestyle.
That switch was read pretty well there as Pope tried to play it one time, and it's taken away by IUPUI. Haka!
These guys love the far post, don't they?
Yeah, right-footed drive, trying to find that far post. Brozovic looked pretty confident that that was going wide.
I mean, this is just really good technical work from Haka, and he's going to try to bend it again to that post. But Matthew Brozovic knows where he is on his line and can feel that post, so he knew it was pretty safe. But that right side of the goal has really been the magnet tonight for these Jag shots.
And the first substitution from the attacking standpoint is going to be Ben Griffiths coming on for Nolan McGrath here for the final 16 minutes of this first half. Griffiths, the redshirt freshman from Ohio. Getting lots of minutes so far this season as Bellarmine on the attack. Appeals for the offside flag are not granted, and it's going to run out for a throw. It's hard to tell if the referee said, yes, it is. It's going to be a corner. It looked like it had gone out to the left of that corner flag, but the linesman telling the referee it was a corner. This will be Forcellini on the delivery for Bellarmine.
Be an in-swinger.
And it's a well-placed ball in and a free header. And Camden Dunn, I believe it was.
I think it's Brock Pope again, that target in the air. He's going to direct this ball down. Let's see, it might be, oh, that's Reichert Cederberg, who just didn't get enough on it, and it bounces over the goal. He's trying for that tough angle to go low, and just a little bit too much behind it, and the deflection was pretty big.
He's not going to get many more opportunities like that, Cederberg. It's the parting of the Red Sea in the area. He did well to rise to it as well. But a missed chance for Bellarmine early on, maybe the best chance for either team so far. And the Knights preparing some more subs momentarily. Bruno Soria is expected to come on in a minute, and he'll be replacing Raheem Shalash. Another driving run through the middle for IUPUI now. Haka trying to get it onto that right foot. He's done it a few times. Off to Tepe. Aruda. Good ball in. It falls to Haka, and it skipped off his head. And he wasn't able to direct it as he had hoped. And now Shalash will come out.
Substitution for Bellarmine, checking in, number 16, Bruno Soria.
It's Bruno Soria, the senior from Santiago, Chile, coming in. A little more than a half an hour in the books so far, as Soria making his 8th appearance of the season for the Knights. And is immediately in on the action in the middle of the field. Good Joey Gladys with a burst of speed, trying to help win the ball back for Bellarmine. Nigerian showing that he is comfortable with the ball at his feet. The goalkeeper for IUPUI, Cederberg. It's one back by IUPUI. Tepe. Now Aruda on the far side. Haka through the middle. Both teams, when they do get on the ball, look relatively comfortable in possession, at least through the middle stage of the field.
Yeah, Bellarmine's not showing its high press right now. They've dropped back into their regular 4-4-2 defense on 3 lines. And it looks like IUPUI is just going to be content to try to feel out those diagonal runs and see what's going to work. Draw a foul to help out their cause.
This is Horn. Working with Ethan Miller, the junior. Back with Horn. Limited pressure until they arrive at about the 40-yard mark.
I'm watching Haka. He does just so well to move through that midfield from left to right.
He's drifted out wide to the right side now and was hoping that his teammates would see him, but Bellarmine does well to disrupt it at least momentarily. Driving through the midfield now, Tepe, and Haka was not on the same page as his teammate.
No, but you can see with so many players kind of looking to the left side of the field, out of the left corner of their eye, Tepe's able to step up in space, and that can be dangerous for the Jags there in the middle of the field.
Bellarmine trying to work down that left flank. And the appeals on the throw are successful, as IUPUI will keep the ball. I know they're giving a set piece there.
Yeah, it looks like Brock, was it Brock Pope? I think he bent over and picked the ball up a little too soon. It had yet to go out.
I was wondering what the frustration was. Typically, throw-in arguments go pretty quietly if they're not real serious late in the game. Miller back out to this far right side. Trying to work with Workman. And it's taken away. Here comes Bellarmine on the drive. Trying to cut through the middle. It's a good ball through to Stickley, and he just caught it a little too heavy there. And well done by Nigerian to come out and claim it.
Good build out and transition opportunity for Thomas. It looked like he maybe stuck that ball a little bit too heavy, and Nigerian did really great to get off his line quickly and secure the ball.
This is Griffiths, a substitute. And Gladys muscled off there by Haka, and Haka gets whistled for the foul.
Haka might have impeded Gladys's progress a little bit on that one, and Bellarmine gets the call.
Bellarmine now trying to work its way through the line.
We're down into just a drizzle now, I would say.
It certainly has not lived up to what we thought the weather was going to be like tonight, which is good news for the Bellarmine faithful here, hoping to get a midweek game in, and IUPUI, of course, on the road. Certainly doesn't want to come down here for a game that doesn't get played.
For number 7, Cooper Porcellini. And number 22, Jackson Marks. For number 18, Jack Fisher.
It's been a couple weeks since we've seen Shukshida, but he's super physical, and I really like the freshman's ability here. He's going to come on for Cooper Porcellini. They offer two different things. Cooper is a little bit more technical, going to try the finesse and maybe to try to beat a player around. Shukshida has been known to go in and through, just like a really good Tim Chastanet prospect, that's for sure.
Shukshida checking in, the junior from Norway. And he will have the opportunity here to try to put his game, or put his imprint on the game here. Final 7:45 of this first half. 5 substitutions so far for Bellarmine, just the one. Or actually, no, excuse me, 0 substitutions for IUPUI. As they have continued with the same group. Something we appreciate up here in the press box, trying to keep track.
I like to get to know the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Ethan Miller, center back pairing with Brady Horn. And trying to find Haka on the run from right to left, but ran a tad long. Easy defending for Gladys. Griffiths almost getting ahead of steam, and it falls to Shukshida, but he has it knocked away only momentarily. This is Stickley. Just held up enough by IUPUI to let the Jags get into their low block here. Trying to play through the middle. Nice touch to Shukshida. And it was deflected away by Aruda at the last moment. Good defending. And then IUPUI able to corral the second ball in. And Aruda proving to have the integral touch there for the Jags to avoid a potential 1v1 situation in the area for Bellarmine.
Good pressure from Alex Shukshida there. He's going to force the unnecessary turnover and just a mistake by the Jags defensive player dribbling out of bounds.
Stickley again on the throw. And a substitution coming. It's going to be Camden Dunn coming off. Colin Foltz, the freshman from Ohio, will check in. And everyone checking in is soaking wet hair from just standing on the sidelines, warming up the whole 9. But the field does appear to be drying out a little bit as this game continues. Final 5 minutes and change here in the first half at Frazier Stadium.
I'm not anticipating a change in the back line with Cedarburg and Jackson Kern. Just those guys have been just absolute pillars back there and lead the team in minutes. And Tim Chastity knows he's got a good thing back there. And it's a great ball to Alex Shikshida, who wasn't able to stay on side, but really good from Cedarburg to try to find his mate and just skip the line.
Shikshida still attempting to take that shot there. Nigerian more than aware of what he was trying. Bryson Nigerian from Beaver Creek, Ohio. Had 2 appearances and a start last year with Wright State. And made 1 appearance his freshman year.
Beaver Creek is famously the home of former Bellarmine great Julia Maston.
There you
He
go.
had some great talent up there.
It's certainly Ohio is known for its soccer talent in a number of different metropolitan areas. As the referee here, Joshua Brooks, has some calming to do across a couple of different players. It'll be a free kick coming for Bellarmine. All things considered, with how open this game has been, Casey, there's really only been a couple of haka attempts from outside the area and the free header for Cedarburg that have really been the primary threatening moments for either team.
Bellarmine had a couple of chances off of a set piece, and also Hazik said went with that near post cross that the keeper was able to snuff out pretty well. See this play.
Good defending from Jackson Kern to win the ball back in the 1v1 situation.
But we've had a definite battle of the midfields this evening, and Bellarmine can't put those 4 passes together there. But IUPUI has done well to string their possession together and find some gaps. It's just the matter of shots on goal that are threatening, and maybe even in the rain you maybe wanted to see maybe more on target so that they could get a deflection maybe off the hands of Brozovic. He knows his range really well, and so it almost seemed like coming off the foot he was pretty confident in each of those attempts that they were going to be wide.
This is IUPUI back in possession here, and it has been Haka who has been the attempter of most of those chances. There was an early moment for Ethan Vermillion cutting in from the left, but his shot was high and wide. Shot numbers tonight are 4-1 for IUPUI, although that can be a tad misleading because sometimes they're not marked very well as opportunities.
Right.
Aruda scoops it forward to Holland, and it was a last-second interjection there from Cedarburg. And the goal kick finally won there, but a dangerous moment for IUPUI.
Yeah, getting forward was Spencer Holland, and if not for a ball maybe off of his shoulder, I think he maybe mistimed it, or the ball got hung up in the air a little bit, but Bellarmine gets bailed out because it hits him in the back, and then Cedarburg is able to come through, or I'm sorry, Jackson Kern's able to come through and clear that ball out.
Brozovic ready to restart here for Bellarmine. Brozovic, such an interesting story as well, a guy who won the goalkeeping job last year, which was not an easy thing to do at the time. And has really been a key guy for this Bellarmine squad this season. He had 6 appearances last year, 3 shutouts. St. Paul is knotted on, and it's going to run long. Final 30 seconds here of this first half. Still scoreless between IUPUI and Bellarmine.
And with these kinds of conditions, both teams will probably take it. They've managed to, as we always say, shrink the game, make it a 45-minute game. see what happens when you can get some players forward in some more pressurized scenarios in the second half.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
And
5.
that just about appears to be where we're going to leave things off.
1.
Halftime has arrived. Bellarmine, nothing. IUPUI, nothing. There's been a couple chances. It's been entertaining, but nobody.
Also the same, but the umbrellas have, for the most part, been put away here in the stands. It's only trickling, and I think people just want that comfort of being out of the wind now that they're probably a little bit wet themselves. So it is really surprising. I thought for sure we were going to have some thunder and maybe a little bit of a delay, but we got it in, and now it's a kind of a great night.
Gavin O'Shea is on the field for IUPUI, and there are a couple of changes that have been made for the visitors here to start this second half. We'll get them all to you in a moment as play restarts, and the Knights will be going right to left in front of you in their white kits. At home here in IUPUI for the second half, will be going left to right on your screens. Try to track all the different changes that have been made for IUPUI. There are a couple of new faces out there. Caleb McComas on the field now for IUPUI. In the center of the midfield there on the near side as Bellarmine restarts. That's Jackson Kern out to the left side now. Brock Pope. Pope trying to play the long ball over the top, and I'm not quite sure that Forcellini knew that that's what he was trying to do. And smart defending there from Ethan Miller to let it run long.
You have to think both Bryson Najiri and Matthew Brozovic switched up their gloves at halftime, I would hope.
You would hope, or maybe they get a lending hand from a teammate or two just to give them the opportunity to use something with a little bit better grip. Owen Jarrell also on the field for IUPUI. We'll continue to trickle these in here. Guidry is the fourth sub, and we mentioned earlier Gavin O'Shea. So those are your four substitutions on for IUPUI. Max Guidry, the sophomore from Carmel, Indiana. And those substitutions will remove a couple of key players here for IUPUI. Tepe, Gaynor, Haka, and Workman are all out.
You can understand that. Likely a non-conference game during the week. Probably want to get those guys a little well rested, and also avoid that potential injury on a wet turf.
I was impressed with Haka and Tepe, both really good players. Certainly impacted the game in the first half. This is Pedro Arruda.
And we're not just patting our backs on those being the impact players, are we?
No, I had already forgotten that, Casey. So I'm patting your back. Those are your choices. So that's good. Brozovic ready to punt the ball away for Bellarmine. And the crowd happy to go pick up some coffees and some snacks at halftime. And as you said, I'm sure it's everybody is equally as happy that they could put the umbrellas away and just sit on something dry and not worry about that driving rain that really was a major factor in that first half on a turf that wasn't exactly easy to play on in that weather.
It really wasn't. The first 10 minutes of the game, it was certainly concerning. You could tell defensively, in particular, those players were taking longer strides and getting into a defensive stance much sooner than they would. I think we'll see a little bit more direct play and some systems bear themselves out a little bit better now that the rain has subsided a little bit.
It's going to be an opportunity here on the far side right for Bellarmine. Trying to play something into the area. Stickley walks away. It's going to be, I believe, Shalish over the ball here for Bellarmine. He's got 5 options ahead of him here. It's a right-footed delivery, back post, unmarked. Ooh. And a good hit there for Bellarmine, but it's Brock Pope who is completely unmarked on that back post, Casey.
Yeah, Jackson Kern did a really good job picking his defender, and for a guy that generally takes the ball out of the air with his head, Brock Pope got a nice little half volley and good opportunity. And again, we just see Bryson Nigerian calmly and confidently snaking that ball.
A couple substitutions also on for Bellarmine here. We'll get them to you as we can. IUPUI in possession. Aruda out here on this near side right. Dasuki still in the game for IUPUI. One of the freshmen who's getting one of his first starts, his second start of this season. Dasuki. This is Forcellini trying to work with Brock Pope. It was a well-struck volley from Pope, as the ball is knotted down to Fisher. He's got 2 in the area. Was trying to find Dunn, and it was blocked away. Some good stuff here from Bellarmine in the last minute or two.
And how I can determine that the rain likely is gone for the night is that Tim Chastney has put his umbrella away, so it's probably safe for everyone else too.
2 hot teams going toe-to-toe tonight. IUPUI on a 3-game winning streak. 7 goals in those 3 wins. Bellarmine 7 matches unbeaten. They've drawn the last 3. And that is, of course, a little bit less taxing to register a tie this year than it has been in previous years, with the elimination of the overtime periods during the regular season, to which I think a lot of us purists are happy that they don't do that anymore. But it's also good for the player safety. I know we've talked about this through the course of the season, but as you approach the postseason, significantly fewer minutes on the legs of these college players as they get ready for the postseason.
Yeah, and we think back to a time where just last season, Bellarmine's women's team at this time had already played an additional, I think it was 4 games when you put it all together.
Oh, God.
You know, on the whole, that's just an unbelievable amount of soccer on your legs, and the opportunity to get injured certainly increased with those opportunities. So to see the NCAA listen to the soccer committee, favor the athlete, the student athlete, and look out for their health and safety is really a smart decision, and it also gets everybody else out of here in time to get some dinner.
That's really the most important aspect of all of it, is you got to be able to go home and get something to eat. That's what everyone is worried about. I know my wife is worried about me eating tonight too, so there you go. Bellarmine in possession through Forcellini. Brock Pope has had a good game tonight, out on this left side. This is Ricard Cedarberg trying to play the long ball over the top. He's got Dunn. It falls to Jack Fisher. Fisher trying to lose his man. He does, but the cross in was not what it needed to be.
He's going to want that one back because Jack did really well to get to his favored left foot there. He just absolutely dusted the defender and left him behind. But that was somewhere in the middle of a shot and a cross, I think, and Jack didn't get really his hips around it. But the initial move was really good to beat his defender.
And it was Shalish who was the change coming back in at halftime. He was in the starting lineup and had been substituted late on. He's back out there for Bellarmine. It is the starting lineup that the Knights had out to begin this thing. Last time out, a 1-1 draw against Belmont. Conceded in the 64th minute, Bellarmine did, and then equalized just 3 minutes later through Nolan McGrath.
In the Ohio Valley Grade, it was just a week ago that we were here for a non-conference battle, and I saw probably 40% of the fans had those electronic heating coats, and now you're seeing short sleeves after the rain, and it's just a really good, fantastic environment to play soccer. You can have great soccer weather pretty late into your season in and around these parts.
And the best part about the college season in this area is you get to miss, for the most part, the 700-degree summers that the pros play through.
Right, that's a brutal stretch playing May to September as your season is maybe not in the best interest of the athlete. That's for sure. Got to be in absolutely fantastic shape for that.
A lot of hydration periods there as he shouts for a foul on the far side go unlistened to, and now Bellarmine's got something cooking. Jack Fisher into the area, left-footed drive, but it was right at Nigerian. Bryson Nigerian tonight, just in his 3rd start of the season, showing his mettle dealing with the wet surface as Ethan Vermillion was down for a moment, and he's going to be coming off. It'll be Fernando Borges, the grad student from Olathe, Kansas. And he will be a few years ahead of young Cooper Forcellini, but Forcellini also from Olathe, wearing the number 7 shirt for Bellarmine tonight. A couple years apart, but you got to think that they are at least familiar with one another, being from the same place, playing college soccer. As IUPUI is back in possession. Bellarmine looking a little bit more confident, though, with the ball at its feet in the second half.
It might be the moving chess pieces, but I think you're right, Jeff. It certainly looks like Bellarmine's had a bit better run in the possession this half than the Jags. McGrath was maybe a hair offside and came back and headed that ball, so we're going to have a Jags free kick.
McGrath, the leading scorer for Bellarmine this season with 5 goals. They haven't pumped him in this year, Bellarmine, but they've gotten them when they've needed to. This is Forcellini out to the far right side. It's a good ball back post. Fisher is there, but good defending from Aruda to cut in front of him and get it away.
Yeah, so to your point, it's really an amazing stat. So other than Nolan McGrath with the multiple goals, Bellarmine has 9 other players with just 1 goal. And of course, you know, Nolan McGrath as that attacking forward, that big time key between he and Chris Shust. But to not see anyone else with multiple goals and to spread out the wealth among, you know, 10 and 11 players, you don't necessarily see that at very many colleges, that's for sure.
A little bit of a change in the guard here as Forcellini is going to take this right-footed corner, and it fell at the last second to Dunn, I believe, but Ricard Cederberg is down. Coming through pretty quickly there on the near post, but he went down in a heap. He does, at least for a second there, it looked like he was ready to pop up, but the trainer is going to come out. See what we can see here. He may have caught the head of Aruda.
And even after he catches the head of Aruda, I think he hits the turf with it too. It might have thrown off his balance a little bit. And don't want to speculate, but might be experiencing a little bit of that whiplashy feeling.
Well, he did come in with a real burst of speed here. 31:45 to go in this one. Scoreless between Bellarmine and IUPUI. Non-conference matchup between the A-Sun for Bellarmine and the Horizon League for IUPUI. And Cedarburg is going to walk off the training staff here.
I think Tim's going to sub him too. I don't know if it's an opportunity just with concussion protocol. I see him fixing the crick in his neck. Tim came out to check on him and then also was moving some pieces. Brock Pope's going to drop back in defensively.
Zeke Zed will come in, and that will shift some bodies around here for Bellarmine. Stickley will drop to left back. You mentioned Pope moving into the middle with Kern. And Zed will be the right outside midfielder with Gladys tucked in at that right back spot as he's been. Approaching the half-hour mark remaining in this one. And it's not a down again to Brozovic on this far side. And you just start to wonder if there's where the moment of magic is going to come from for either team. They both seem content to absorb some pressure before really locking in defensively. There's McGrath going into that 50-50 ball with Ethan Miller, and Miller is now the player who is down for a second.
We had contact to the nose or face area there as well. And yeah, through this first quarter of the second period, you know, Bellarmine has done well to kind of get into its possession. They've gone a little bit longer, sometimes skipping the midfield a bit. And let's see, just a little bit of contact, yeah, to the face area from McGrath is just gonna slow this play just a little bit. Ethan Miller might have a little bit of blood on that hand, and the referee's gonna ask him to clean it up just a little bit so that he can get back out here and play.
There are going to be 2 substitutions coming up for Bellarmine, and we'll get those to you in a second as Miller walks off. So 2 moments here that have prompted changes. This is Borges, who is just getting checked on the sideline there. He's going to be switching sides here with Holland. And we'll see what the substitutions are. Cedarburg is back on for Zed. So Cedarburg will drop back to center back. Pope will switch out to left back, and Stickley will move back to that right midfield position. Caleb Hussein is coming on, the senior. And that's immediately getting an opportunity to get a touch, Hussein. Replacing Ethan Miller. Caleb Hussein has started 9 matches this year and is a regular for this IUPUI squad. And we'll see if it's just a few minutes or if it's the full remaining half hour for the center back coming on, but nevertheless, play is resumed. IUPUI in possession. This is Hussein. Hussein, the senior from Carmel, Indiana. here to Arruda on the near side right, working with Borges. Bellarmine happy to pack it in once IUPUI has the ball. All 10 players defending inside their own half.
Thought they'd forced an unforced error there, but yeah, they just move so well in those defensive lines. Coach Chastenay's done really well or really good to get these guys moving in a connected fashion and covering one another with great ease.
Possible break here for IUPUI down to the right side. This is Arruda. Now Borges. And his attempts to find Arruda through the combination play are thwarted momentarily. On the far left side now, IUPUI. Can they find a winning combination? Goal scoring has picked up for IUPUI the last couple times out, including 4 in their last game, a win against Oakland. But this is a largely rotated group for the Jags tonight, especially here in the second half. And a heavy challenge there from Forcellini. Will win the free kick for IUPUI. 4 shots to 3 right now in favor of the Jags, but 2 in the second half are both from Bellarmine. As the Knights have certainly threatened far more in this second half than their visitors. And a foul on the far side whistled by Joshua Brooks will let IUPUI get its free kick targets into the area. This is Caleb McComas ready to take this free kick. Freshman from Ohio. Be a right-footed delivery here when he does play it in. The header is won there by Kern. Well done from the junior defender, or excuse me, the senior defender.
Pretty good delivery there into about the penalty spot for McCombs, but no real threats actually on the end of that run. And IUPUI's attack has just seemed a little bit off this second half, and it's likely the pieces. There's McComas getting called for that challenge. He's probably going to get booked for it.
It's a yellow card given to him for the foul here on the near side on Jack Fisher. And Fisher is still down. And he is in a good amount of pain here. We had thought that the trainers had been called on. I thought that was what the motion was from the referee. There's Jack Fisher, the key guy for this team, the junior from just outside of Louisville. He went to Trinity High School. And it's good to see him up and walking it off. Here's a look at the challenge again. That's a pretty dangerous challenge, Casey.
Yeah, those studs are definitely up, and McComas might be lucky that maybe with a different referee might have seen a bit darker shade of a card.
The ball's played in, blocked out to Dunn. Dunn firing back in. It's cleared away, and then the scuffed second chance has a spring here for IUPUI. Out to the right is Borges on the counter. Here come the Jags. Ball in, and a flying challenge there. The late arrival was Owen Jarrell. Second ball in, back post is just a bit long there. It was Borges who was in the area, but Bellarmine deals with the threat.
Substitutions checking in for the points, number 16.
Quite a play from Camden Dunn there at the top of the box, who sent his body flying and was able, with his trail leg, no less, to deflect that ball out of the box and away from danger. Really athletic play from Camden.
Be a corner coming in for IUPUI. Think that it had resulted in that, but nevertheless, here's Borges. The right-footed delivery. It's a good ball in. It wasn't dealt with by Bellarmine, but the flag goes down. A little physical in the area. It was Stickley who took the brunt of it, along with Gavin O'Shea for IUPUI.
May have been a handball. See if our guys can't.
Yep, that's exactly it right there. It was Owen Jarrell who came flying in and had his body turned right when the ball arrived.
Soccer, you famously cannot do that with your hands. Good work from our guys.
So I have heard, Casey. But it is, the whole body is a weapon when you get turned like that when you're running onto it. The first goal I ever scored playing this game was I got turned running on for a corner and knocked the ball in with my butt.
Right. Anything, any part will do.
Other than the hand.
Other than the hand, exactly. So you're really just trying to get a deflection. I tell the girls I coach that all the time. Just so long as it's not your arm and your hand, stick anything else out there that you've got.
Hazik Zed is back on for Bellarmine. 23 and change left in this one. Still scoreless between these two teams. There certainly have been some chances, but neither team able to find the breakthrough just yet. Hazik Zed on the far side, surrounded by three Jags. This is Cedarburg. Now Kern. Kern looking over the top for McGrath. It's a good battle from McGrath, but he was the last one to touch it.
With McComas out there and also Gavin O'Shea, I think it's pretty clear which Jags were under the tent. They seem to have the only dry jerseys and hair in this stadium.
And Borges looks pretty dry too on this near side. And they are happy to be getting some run here in the second half as the rain has faded and the thunderstorms have avoided our immediate area here on Bellarmine University's campus. In the Highlands area of this beautiful city. A throw coming here on the near side for the Brazilian Arruda. Freshman making his 5th start of this season. Laid on and getting a great chance here tonight in Louisville. Turnover in the attacking half now has Bellarmine ready to rock. Zed puts the ball in near post. He was looking for McGrath. It's, Forcellini. Forcellini still with it. Leaves it off to Dunn. Player down on the far side for Bellarmine. Fisher tries to get the ball back across, and for a second there, it looked like maybe it would find someone. But IUPUI able to chase it away.
Really good from Jack Fisher to get on that ball, and he played a really dangerous ball into the 6-yard box. Unfortunately, I think Cooper Forcellini was checking to the ball and just wasn't able to get turned around and have a shot.
And there's a foul on the far side. And another yellow card coming. I believe that's Spencer Holland who will go into the book.
Yellow card issued to IUPUI's number 16, Spencer Holland.
These benches do that so well. Even if the referee, was unsure about the call, the rehearsed hey from everybody is just so good.
It's good stuff from Bellarmine's bench there. And now a chance on this set piece. It's a low-driven ball, didn't beat that first defender. And then falling to the turf from the high boot there was Brock Pope. The referee ignoring that. And that's a heavy collision there from Aruda and Pope. Nothing dirty about it in either direction, but nevertheless, a throw coming. Lucas Haka will be checking back in along with Cade Tepe. The two maestros for this IUPUI squad getting back in here for the final 20 minutes. Perhaps a sign that IUPUI would like to chase a result here in Louisville.
I was thinking with 20 minutes to go, this has likely been the longest IUPUI has been without a goal in the last, 3 games. So it's not surprising to see that stand-in coach Lewis Dunn, or stand-in head coach, let's say, assistant coach Lewis Dunn this evening, is maybe going to the bench to try to find those pieces to get a goal and keep the hot streak alive.
Bellarmine trying to work through possession here. Looking for the switch. It's Brock Pope who's the target. He was trying to work with Forcellini there. Last touch, a jag. This is Fisher. Now Forcellini. And Forcellini's going to win the foul on Aruda. So a set piece is coming here under 19 minutes now. Forcellini looks like he's going to be the one to take it. He does a quick restart here. It's a vertical ball played near post, and Ricard Cederberg, or excuse me, that was Pope, who thought for a second that he had a chance at it, but well done from Nigerian to come out and claim it.
Nigerian showed some athleticism this evening. I've been pretty impressed with his ability to come off his line and secure these balls on a rainy, drizzly night. That truly tells you something about your confidence in your hands and in your decision making.
That's a good turn from Tepe to win the foul from Brock Pope. And now IUPUI with a chance for their own quick restart. Haka trying the pair of turns there. He does maintain possession, but he was slowed down a little bit. Working with Tepe. This is Holland. Aruda. Holland again. Haka. Well done to get a cross away, Holland, from a tough spot. And a heavy challenge in from Aruda, but he's able to deflect the ball away first. Substitution coming on for the Knights. Ben Griffiths will check in for Raheem Shalish. Another attacking-minded move here for Bellarmine. Bellarmine now a chance here. Forcellini, so threatening with the ball at his feet. Decides to switch fields out to Gladys. Gladys thought about the cross in, it was blocked. And that's the type of effort from your attacking players tracking back that coaches like to see, as Gavin O'Shea comes all the way back to block that cross. You
do like to see it. I just don't know if Joey Gladys can right now. He's got a little bit of rubber in his eye.
Yeah, that's one of the perks of playing on these turf fields is occasionally get the rubber bouncing up into your face. Still nothing between these two teams as we have now played 74 minutes, which is the minute that Hazik Zed scored the game winner between these teams last time out. Here come the Knights into the area. It's Pope. Plays it across the area, and he had Hazik Zed, but it skipped past him. It's still alive for Bellarmine on the far side, and a foul is won.
It's Forcellini again. He's just so good at making that move, and senior co-captain Brock Pope heard you with that reference to last year's game in the 74th minute and was looking for that back post run, but nobody home for the Knights.
It'll be a set piece that basically looks like a corner here. On the far side, Jack Fisher coming over to take a left-footed in swinging ball. Although Gladys is also in the area there, but that might just be for guidance. It is Fisher who takes it on the edge of the 6, header one from Maruda. Dunn tried to play the first time cross in. It was blocked again from O'Shea. Ball's punched down and not out. Zed, right-footed drive. It was blocked. Shouts for a handball. And things have really opened up here, but the offside flag is up on O'Shea. Casey, I know that's a really hard call when you don't have VAR, but was there a handball perhaps?
It certainly looked like it from the box, and also I guess from the bench. And we're going to just take a look at it in slow-mo. Hazik Zed's going to shoot it, and yeah, the defender Max Guidry from IUPUI definitely has his arm somewhat extended, and it's a handball. You know, it's a bang-bang play, and without the benefit of VAR, the referee is going to have to just get a little bit of credit, but that one's going to be probably written down by whatever committee or supervisor is watching that game as likely a missed call.
Well, it's going to be a set piece on the far side for Bellarmine again. It'll be Forcellini who will take it. The Knights have been much more on the front foot here in the second half. Right-footed delivery from Forcellini, near post, and the header was clear for Cedarburg, but I'm not sure that he knew a whole lot about it. Chris Workman is going to come back in for IUPUI. He'll replace Owen Jarrell. And, you know, sometimes it's tough, Casey. In that situation, it was such a close shot that you have to wonder if there's a benefit of the doubt given his arm wasn't extended. It was tucked into his body. So you have to think maybe that would be an argument against it.
It is, and so often we train our defenders, you know, not to react. And also, you know, depending on what the angle was for the referee, he might see that as off the chest. I felt like he was potentially bringing that arm up, and it kind of hit off his mid-forearm area. But, you know, if I'm IUPUI, I'm also probably going crazy if that gets called
yeah,
as a
fair.
handball. So I would say it's probably a fair result. But both teams, there could be an argument made either way for sure.
And we need like 90 more cameras.
We do, yeah.
90 more cameras, review. Let's turn this into a complete camera run situation. What do you think?
I think so. I think just like I think it was the U17 game I was watching last weekend in the, you know, some international feed because I honestly, between work and 2 sets of Bellarmine games, I didn't have anything else to do. But, you know, the play had passed for probably 2 minutes, and the next thing you know, you see the referee going, you know, pressing his left ear in,
Yep.
meaning the right side was talking to him, and they go to VAR, and sure enough, they call a PK back. So that can be super frustrating.
Yeah. Well, they've got 34 cameras, I think it is, for a Premier League game, so that's how they're able to see if a toenail is offside in those games, as Brozovic claims it.
And we all know how those toenails affect the game.
Yeah, that's true. They are legal, unlike the hands. They are legal. Brozovic still eyeing the opportunity here, and teammate sacking a little bit farther up field. It finally ends up on the turf for Dunn. That's a high boot there. And he caught Haka. IUPUI's players doing their call and response for the foul there, and that was the right call. Miller and Horn working together in that center back pairing. Nazarian with a potential giveaway there, but it finally falls to Workman. To the 80th minute now. Now Aruda. IUPUI, do they have the winner in them? Haka is certainly a guy who you think would be in a good position to do that. He's got one game winner this season. Scored 7 goals for D2 Notre Dame. Last year, 8 assists, including 3 game-winning goals for his former school.
Within this little bit of possession here, I can tell that both Haka and Tepe both want to be the heroes this evening. Both are imploring their team to get them the ball.
And there was almost an opportunity there as Holland thought he had gotten in behind Kern, but the ball ran a little long. It was an ambitious effort from IUPUI. Thomas Stickley about to come back on for the Knights. This is Haka. Quick reaction from Bellarmine to win the ball back. This is Pope. Bellarmine just 12 goals allowed this season in 13 matches, and you can see why. They are hard to break down as Kern trying to find Forcellini. It's a little long. Stickley does come on now. He'll replace Jack Fisher. And Nolan McGrath will come back on for Ben Griffiths to lead the line for the Knights. Final 8:20 to go in this one. Still scoreless between these two teams. IUPUI has been very much in the goal-scoring mood this season, but not been able to break down the Knights tonight. Kern, a big reason why this team has been so good defending this Bellarmine squad. Comes across to clean it up. And the referee pausing proceedings here. Caleb Hussein coming on, and he'll replace Brady Horn. "24 goals so far this season for IUPUI in 14 games. We have conceded 26 though. Bellarmine trying to add to that total here on the break forward. Aruda able to get to the ball first, but he only gives it to Brock Pope. And Bellarmine gives it away. Holland. McComas. Good carry there from McComas to Holland, and then the two of them weren't quite on the same wavelength when Holland tried to give it back to him.
It's a misconnection there, but what do you think? Do you think Lewis Dunn, who is the assistant coach, and he's standing in for Coach Sid Van Dundren, do you think he's auditioning, maybe? You think he's trying to go for the win, pulling back some of his regular starters here in the last 8 minutes?
It sure seems like he wants a win here for IUPUI, and it doesn't hurt to come back up I-65 with a dub for your coach while he's out. IUPUI has scored in each of its last 5 games. The last time they were shut out was September 28th. A 2-0 loss to Cleveland State. They've been shut out 3 times this season. Bellarmine much more familiar with the goalless game. It's 3-0 to Louisville. They were shut out by Liberty in Central Arkansas, but they've also had a 0-0 draw a couple weeks ago against Stetson.
Yeah, those low-scoring battles are more in Bellarmine's wheelhouse.
Yes.
So they can handle this pressure of the last 6 minutes, maybe more so than the Jags, who might be trying to push the gas a little bit more.
5 shutouts this season for the Knights. 3 of those clean sheets for Brozovic. Trying to get in line here. That was Stickley, it was cleared away. Gladys coming in to try to disrupt things. Final 5 minutes now here in Louisville, still scoreless. Jackson Kern has been trying to find that vertical ball over the top tonight and just hasn't had a whole lot of real estate to deal with.
Number 7, Ethan Vermillion.
Ethan Vermillion coming back on as well. And Jack Fisher will be on for Bellarmine. Vermillion, the freshman from right here in Kentucky. About 45 minutes or so from here in Frankfort.
Not these days in the Louisville area.
Just depends on how urgent it is for you to get to Frankfurt or back. Ball runs long on the far side. It's Gladys who collects it, but it's still with IUPUI. Out on the far side, the ball is in, looking for Vermillion.
It's so hard working on that left side because Jackson Kern slides over to that near post and at, 6'4", just dealing with that, trying to get a bending ball around him is so difficult. Cedarburg's got height as well. Just the way they interplay and switch those positions so freely.
It's late on in this one, final 3.5 minutes now. Still scoreless, still looking for the breakthrough. Cedarburg driving forward after winning that clearance from Nigerian, plays a good ball in, and it's just saved at the last moment. It was helped on by McGrath. Everything done by Cedarburg to set it up.
That was such an impressive run from the center back. Cedarburg's just gonna lay this ball off, and McGrath doesn't get enough on it, kind of on the scoot. I don't know if I would call that a shot so much because he's so far behind it. He's just trying to scoot the ball past the goalkeeper, but really good from Cedarburg to get all the way forward and just continue on with pace.
And Nigerian grateful that didn't have more pace on it. But a good stop from the junior goalkeeper. Here's Haka back in the other direction, cut off, and now McGrath has a chance to turn and break loose for Bellarmine. Fisher, he's got a hard charging Brock Pope with him. Fisher doesn't use that run. And it's given away by the Knights. Brock Pope was frustrated that the ball didn't arrive ahead of him. Well done from Gladys, though, to keep possession. And then Fisher and Forcellini not on the same page.
Pope made about a 65-yard run, and I would be a little bit frustrated myself, too, because he was moving down that left sideline. And that's all right for Cooper to try to go back into the middle. Unfortunately, the overload and overlap seemed to have produce numbers and may not have been the right decision from the freshman.
That's a dangerous challenge in from Dunn. He was in traffic, and he took out Gavin O'Shea. It's going to be a free kick coming for IUPUI. Final 90 seconds here, and perhaps the last opportunity for either team to set something up as good as this. This is Haka standing over it. The numbers forward for IUPUI. Back post delivery. And cleared away by Bellarmine. Now Forcellini, the chance to break loose. He doesn't really have anybody with him. Now joining the attack late is Fisher. He's calling for it. McGrath running near post. And Forcellini wins the corner. Well done from the freshman Cooper Forcellini.
Just earning that corner kick is just so important. He's 1 on 5 there and is still able to create an opportunity off of a set piece now.
And it's Fisher who will take it. Jack Fisher, the junior from Prospect, Kentucky, right outside Louisville. Left-footed delivery, far post, and a clear header for Brock Pope, and he popped it up. Nigerian comes over to claim it. He wanted a foul on Pope. Not sure that Pope knew a whole lot about that situation. Now cut back inside for Millian, trying to lose Gladys. 15 seconds for Millian. Booted away there at the last second by Stickley. Workman. Now Aruda wants to just pop it up. Does Brozovic claim it? He does, and that's where we'll end things here. Scoreless between these two teams. Casey, your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was a nice regional matchup for both of these teams. They were able to jump out of non-conference, get a nice competitive